Today we are going to do a video all about the ketogenic diet. It's basically the ultimate beginner's guide to starting keto. Everything you need to know, the tips and tricks, the things I wish I would have known when I started the keto diet, what to expect, what foods to eat, and if you've hit a keto plateau, which happens to all of us, I'm going to share some things that worked for me to help me get over that hump. I made a lot of mistakes on the keto diet and things I wish I would have known before I started, so I hope that this video will help you guys not go through the same thing that I did. So let's get started. First things first, I know you guys are gonna ask me, how much weight did you lose? How many inches? How do you feel? So I'm just gonna be straight up honest with you guys. So I don't have a ton of weight to lose, or I didn't have a ton of weight to lose. I was just trying to get off that extra 10 to 15 pounds that you get after baby that just never seems to go away. And moms, you know what I'm talking about, right? It's just that extra little weight your body just does not want to get rid of. So for me, that was my goal with keto. Some of you might have a lot more weight to lose, or a lot more weight that you want to lose. The keto diet is amazing. I'm a huge fan of it. In fact, my husband even said that I was way happier on the keto diet. So for me, I actually lost 9 pounds in my first 7 days doing the keto diet, which was crazy to me. I could not believe that eating that way could have that kind of results. After that point, I kind of plateaued just a tiny bit, and I had to stick with it to see results. The results were just a little bit slower, which I think is kind of the case for everybody when they do the keto diet. So if you see a huge drop at the beginning and then see slower decline, don't worry about it. I'm pretty sure it happens to everybody. Just stay consistent. You'll see all of the results. And a lot of times your weight might not be changing, but your inches in your body is. Remember that muscle weighs more than fat. So if you're burning fat, you might not see that on the scale if you're using the scale as your indicator. So I would highly recommend that you measure your body before you start the keto diet and not just do the scale, because sometimes you might not lose weight for a whole month, but you've lost 4 inches on your waist. You just don't know. So you need to pay attention. So I would recommend doing that as your first step. The second thing I would do is make sure that you're using some sort of tracker to track the amount of protein, fats, and carbs that you're eating every day. This is kind of like the most important part. You have to eat a certain percentage of fats, carbohydrates, and protein in order to make the keto diet work. So Perfect Keto actually has an amazing graph that I'm gonna use, so shout out to them for their amazing picture. If you guys look at this picture, you'll see that your fat should be anywhere from 70 to 80% of all the food you eat during the day. Your protein should be between 20 and 25%, and your carbs should be between 5 and 10% a day. Now this might sound super complicated, but if you use the MyFitnessPal app, which is completely free, just download it, you can enter in your numbers. It'll tell you exactly how many grams or how much to eat every single day. Then you can scan any of the food that you're eating that has a barcode. It'll input it for you, or you can just type it in and use their ginormous search engine and pull things up as well. Even if you're eating out, food is in there. So you guys can get like an idea if you are on track or if you're not on track. When you first start, guaranteed you're gonna overdo your carbs because you have to get used to it. It'll take a few days. The whole point of the keto diet, at least the basic point of the keto diet, to burn through all of the glucose your body has stored, to burn through all the carbs it has, to put it in a state where it has to go somewhere to get energy. And we want it to start pulling from your fat stores, to start burning off that fat as energy. So that's what we're doing this very first week when you start the keto diet at the very beginning. And it's hard, guys. You're gonna go through something called the keto flu. You've probably read about it. So I'm gonna share a few things that helped me get through the keto flu a lot better. The first time I did keto, I did it for 9 weeks straight. Absolutely perfect with no cheats, and it was very hard. Even on my birthday, my husband's birthday, our anniversary, didn't cheat at all. It was super hard, but I felt like it definitely paid off. And then I took a couple weeks off and restarted the keto diet. And because I've gone through the keto flu a couple times, I definitely know what worked to help you get through it a little bit better. So here are a few tips for you. Water is gonna be your best friend. Drink as much water as possible. You think you drink enough water, drink more. It will help flush everything out so much faster, and you will feel so much better. If you're not drinking enough water, you are going to feel sick. So make sure that you do that. You also need electrolytes, and this is something I didn't know when I first started. Magnesium and potassium. If you are not getting enough of that in your diet with keto diet, which you probably aren't because of the foods, you need to add that in with a supplement. So you can go and buy a pill for magnesium, a pill for potassium, and make sure you're taking that every day. You can also buy something just called electrolytes. It's straight electrolytes. You put it in your water, and that made a huge difference for me. The one that I like is from a company called Beyond Raw. You can find it at GNC, you can find it on Amazon. I'll link you guys to it below. And that, I felt an instant relief when I took those. So if you are going through the keto flu, or you don't want to go through it as badly as other people, make sure you have those things. Some people also swear by Himalayan salt. I didn't notice a difference with that, but I was taking electrolytes, so that might have been why. When you first start the keto diet and you're going through that keto flu, a lot of times you'll think, oh man, I've already ate enough fat for today, or I'm good, but you're not eating enough fat, I almost guarantee it. And that's the hardest part. You need to eat a lot of healthy fats. And even though you might think, oh my gosh, you do not want to eat that healthy fat, it will actually make you feel better. So eat those healthy fats and make sure you get to that 70 to 80% bracket that we're trying to hit. Another thing that made me feel so much better through that first little bit for the keto flu is exercising. You're gonna have no energy to exercise. So when I'm saying exercise, I'm talking about super, super light energy. Maybe you're walking, maybe you're doing like a really light bike, something like that, just to get your heart pumping, help flush everything out. Now, keto flu typically lasts anywhere from like a few days to a week or so. For me, I found keto flu the very first time I did it, took about 4 or 5 days. The second time I started the keto diet, it only took 2 to 3 days. So that might be the same for you. Everyone's a little bit different. And the last tip I have for you guys is to don't cheat. Do not cheat. Anytime you cheat, you potentially put yourself back in a situation where you're gonna have to go through that keto flu all over again. So you either have to be all in or out when you're doing the keto diet. And if you stay all in, you will see the results fast. And it's amazing. It truly, truly is. Another tip I wanna add for you guys, something I wish I would have known before I started the keto diet, is that you need to add a fiber supplement, like badly, like a lot of fiber. You're not getting it in your diet. You'll get constipated, you'll get backed up, and that's not fun. It also will skew the results on the scale and you'll think you're not losing and you might give up. Make sure you're getting a really heavy duty fiber supplement that can help push all those foods through you so you guys can see the results. Along with that, I wanna share one more sneaky trick because this is something that I had to figure out on my own and it took me a while to figure out. So you're allowed to use sugar substitutes on the keto diet, right? Supposedly they're not supposed to spike insulin, they're not supposed to make a difference. However, I had to do some research to figure out that there are some sugar substitutes out there that still have a really high glycemic index and can actually spike your insulin, which we don't want to have happen when we're on the keto diet. So for me, I found the only sugar substitute that worked for me to see results is erythritol. You can find it at the grocery store in the baking aisle and like the sugar-free section. It's there, you can even bake with it. I've had some amazing desserts with the erythritol. They taste super, super good, especially for keto. So just so you guys know, if you have an issue and you're doing everything right and you're not seeing results, it could be because you're using sugar substitutes like Maltodextrin that are actually spiking your insulin and are making it so you're not losing weight and your body's using that for energy instead of burning off the fat. Another sneaky tip I want to make sure you know about is to make sure you don't eat too much protein. I feel like a lot of people do this, me included. I totally didn't realize it. But I also didn't realize that if you eat too much protein, your body will actually start converting that into energy. So then it's not pulling from the fat stores to burn for energy, it's pulling from the protein you're eating. So then you don't see results again. So make sure you stay within that 20 to 25% bracket that we want for our protein consumption every single day. I feel like those are my 2 main culprits when I wasn't seeing results on the keto diet. There also are a few sneaky foods that I wanna make sure you guys are aware of that do have sugars in them or carbs, and we wanna stay away from those because we wanna stay under 20 grams of carbs a day. Most of the carbs that I eat are vegetable carbs, and I personally found that if I didn't eat enough carbs, I felt sick or didn't feel good or felt like super, super tired. And if I ate too many carbs, then I didn't see any results. So 20 grams of carbs was perfect for me. You might have to play with that number a little bit, but that does give you an idea. So here are some foods that you need to be careful of. Condiments have sugar in them. You have to be very, very careful and look at the carb amount on every single condiment that you buy or that you have in your fridge already. Ketchup, super high in carbs. Mustards are okay because they don't have any carbs. Some ranches are gonna have carbs, although ranch is kind of like my go-to sauce on keto. I eat it with pretty much anything. So make sure you get one that has a low carb count to keep you under that 20 grams of carbs a day. Another sneaky culprit on the keto diet is medicines. A lot of the medicines that you take, whether it's Dayquil or Robitussin, they have sugar in them, you guys. So if you get sick while you're on the keto diet, you need to be careful that you don't take anything that has added sugar. Definitely stay away from the liquids and maybe get capsules to swallow instead. That is a sneaky one, and thankfully I thought about that before I took some medicine when I got sick during my first round of keto. All right, obviously that's a ton of information and I could have talked about this for a whole hour, but I know you guys have other things to do. So I've actually written out everything that I've talked about, also included foods you should and shouldn't eat on the keto diet to help you guys get started. I've written it all out for you guys. You guys can go down below into the YouTube description and click on that link. It'll take you over to my post with all of the information you could ever want. And you guys can reference that as much as you want getting started. It'll give you all the percentages again, the foods, the things you shouldn't do, tips, tricks, all of that in that one post. Or you can just go to themaliashow.com/keto diet. It'll pull up that same page for you. So I hope you guys can use that as a reference. Hope it helps. I would love to do another video on keto, maybe talking about the foods you should and shouldn't eat, and do a whole video just on that. So if you're interested in that, definitely comment below and let me know. And if you have any keto questions, ask me below. I am obviously not a keto expert. I can only go off of my own experience and things that work for me, but I would love to help you guys if I can. So ask those questions below, and I will talk to you guys later. Thank you so much for watching, and if you're brand new, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you guys don't miss future videos that I put out. Okay, thanks guys. See ya.